Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Seftimor podcast. Before we get started, I want to tell everybody that's out at Guardian Con, all the Positive Pineapples, the Shed, the Magic Club, all you beautiful people that have such a great impact on my life, be safe out there. It's for the kids, and you guys are all doing amazing. The new partner requirements is a big thing, especially for these people that are in the Positive Pineapples that I know and I play with on a weekly basis, as well as the other people in the stream teams. This is a big opportunity for us, and there's people that are in these stream teams that your time is coming, and it's coming soon, and congratulations to everybody. But be safe out there. Make sure to send me lots of pictures, lots of tweets, throw them up on Discord, Twitter, all that good stuff. You know that. But anyway, let's get into it. Tonight is a book review. Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Did you think it was going to be any other book? I name drop Gary Vaynerchuk about once a post. That's because I get that much value out of him. I get that much value. That's one of the reasons I'm blogging, one of the reasons I'm the main reasons. I know he tells you do all three. The written word, audio, and video is never going to get old, and it's not going anywhere. If you can't do one, do the other. So I thought I might as well hit all three. I write my article, I record the audio and video here on Mixer, and then I export to Anchor for just the audio, in case you don't want to look at my ugly mug. Anyway, if you've been a reader of Seftimor Live, then you know one of my biggest influences is Gary Vaynerchuk. Today I will be reviewing his latest book, Crushing It. After reading his first book, Crush It, I started my journey into creating a personal brand. Last year, he announced that the follow-up to Crush It would be Crushing It, and it was going to be released at the beginning of this year. Needless to say, I couldn't wait for it to be released, and I did buy it as soon as it came out, but because I read 5 million things at once, I finally got finished with it. Not that it's a bad book by any means. It's actually a great book, and I'll get into that. But I have a short attention span with things, and if something piques my attention later on while I'm reading something, then I move on. But anyway, his first book, Crush It, wasn't incredible. I got into it probably like 3 or 4 years after it was written, and when I read it, it was a few years old. I felt that an updated version for 2018 was something that would help me on my journey. Gary always has his finger on the pulse of up-and-coming platforms. I follow him to hear not only the best ones to use, but the best practices to use on those platforms. Crushing It delivers in every way. Gary always talks about the purpose of his content. He puts out content so that we can get what we need and start producing. Gary always talks about the day when we don't consume his content. He says it is because we are too busy producing. In one of Gary's latest videos, he talks about his YouTube views stagnating. He says that the reason for this is because people take his advice and then they actually take action. His views stagnate on YouTube because people are taking action and not consuming as much anymore. The sincerity in that statement, in that video, is what makes me love Gary so much. He gives out 95% of his content for free. The least I could do was pay him back by purchasing Crushing It. The book's incredible. It's a business book that gives you every tool you need to start building on the multitude of platforms out there. Every single thing you need to start a personal brand is contained inside Crushing It. The book contains actual real strategies, not only from Gary himself, but others that have executed on the principles laid out in Crush It and that have succeeded. Crushing It will equip you with everything you need for success on every major platform. He goes in depth into every single aspect of these platforms. Some of the stuff is over the top, and it seems like, maybe I can't do all that, but it is a lot of work. All of this stuff that we're doing is a lot of work, and the people that don't think that are the people that probably aren't going to have success in that. He does mention Twitch very in a few like paragraphs, or one paragraph. He does mention that. But so with the creation of Crushing It, Gary interviewed people that made it, like I said, and the real world examples of people building a business on their passions are nothing short of inspiring. Now, in reading the book, you may think that you will be crushing it within a matter of days or a matter of weeks. This is not the case. My favorite principle that Gary preaches is patience. Building a personal brand is time consuming, often not immediately rewarding. The good thing with Crushing It is that we will be inspired to do the work and remain patient, always moving forward. How many times do I say that in this podcast? All the tools provided in Crushing It are great, but the big three will always remain the same. The hard work, the consistency, and of course, the patience. Patience in anything is what we're doing. I mean, as long as we're having a good time, then what's the deal? I'll tell you what it is. Some of us, and this is going to take a tangent from the article. Some of us have jobs or have things that we do for our income, for our bills, that maybe we wish we were doing something else. And that's where patience gets really hard, because we see other people making it and we just want to make it as well. We want to get it all out there and get there quickly. But the reason why I started streaming and continued to write and continue to do everything was because when I was continuing to write every single night and didn't have a platform like Mixer to stream on or to get my thoughts out or meet with real people, I was getting burnt out real quick. And I realized that, they always say, what do you want to, what do you want to do? Like, go back to when you were 10. And when I was 10, I was, playing video games. I was reading video game magazines. I was into the culture. By 13, 14, 15, I was up to my neck in EverQuest. And on the weekend when I got home from school, from high school or from middle school, all I could think about was playing EverQuest for the entire weekend. So patience is very tough, but it is a pillar of what we have to do. And I sometimes forget it. You'll go to your job and you'll be like, I just want this to be it. And I get messed up. I was just talking to Raymond on the phone, actually, about this, saying I don't want something like this to happen quickly, because I want to make sure that I'm building and I want to make sure it's the best product for my fans and for my audience. But I do want to make sure that I am going somewhere, and that maybe I could have something where, you could be your own boss and do your own thing, and something that I did. I want to create something, I want to make it so that I did something on my own without the help of friends, without the help of family, and that it worked out for me. Anyway, sorry about that little aside. It was just some thoughts I was having today. So, in conclusion, most of the self-help books I read tend to lean more in the abstract. Crushing It is all practical and it's real. It's by far my favorite business book of 2018. Throughout all the books I read every year, I can't think of another one that gives this many real-world examples and practical advice other than Crushing It. The book is worth the money if you're looking to build a personal brand in 2018 and beyond. I give Crushing It my highest recommendation. That's just for the practicality of the book. A lot of people will go around the bush and give you very broad, abstract advice. Gary doesn't do that. He gives you, this is how you do it. This is how I did it. This is how other people did it. Now go do it yourself. Finally, Gary, if you're watching this or listening to this, thank you for everything you do. The free content you put out daily helps me not only in business, but changing my mindset for the better in my day-to-day life. You help me strive for my goals and keep me positive while busting my ass. Thank you, Gary Vaynerchuk. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you want to follow me on any of the platforms I create on, you could find them here. Blogs, of course, are at seftimorlive.com. And then everything else is at Seftimor. Medium, Twitter, Instagram, Mixer, and this podcast are all on /Seftimor. Podcast is on Anchor. We are now on Spotify. So if you have Spotify, just search the Seftimor podcast and we should pop up there, I think. So that's it. Thank you, everybody. Again, love you, everyone that's out there at Guardian Con. Have a great time. Give people a hug for me, and I'll see you when you get back. To everybody else, thank you for listening. Please share this with someone that could use it. Subscribe to the podcast. It always helps, and it's totally free. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Take care.